In spite of the legal framework recognizing the rights of persons with disabilities, many remain unemployed due to factors closely linked to stigmatization and discrimination. The National Commission for Persons with Disabilities has inaugurated the Framework for National Access to Work scheme for persons with disabilities in Nigeria. The launch of the framework was done with support from TAF Africa and Sight Savers. The Access to Work scheme operationalizes the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. It not only addresses barriers preventing persons with disabilities from accessing formal employment, but also ensures equal opportunities and strengthens economic inclusion.
When the bill was passed in 2018, the lawmakers magnanimously granted a moratorium 4 years before the strict compliance. So this 4 years was meant to prepare the Nigerian society for the full implementation of the law. It was to give employers of labor, owners of properties or buildings, to configure them in a way that is accessible to all and sundry. And so this moratorium ended last year, 2024, and so this is 2025. It is a year of strict implementation. For instance, the bill clearly specified that at least 5% of every employment opportunity will be reserved for persons with disabilities, even though to us in the disability community, this is a gross underestimation because what is the percentage, for instance, of persons with disabilities generally in the Nigerian population? If you say only 5% are going to be considered for employment, what happened to the many others? But it's good to start from somewhere, and so this framework is wonderful. We thank God that we are launching it today, and it's going to go out there, public, private, and everywhere, and we will make sure that this framework serves as a guide to monitor that there is no exclusion of persons with disabilities anytime a job vacancy exists, and also to make sure that in the workplace, people living with disabilities are not marginalized or sidelined. So it's a wonderful framework, and I wish to call on the Nigerian populace to adhere to this stricter censor so that Nigeria will be a country for all.
This is different because we are getting the commitment of the private sector themselves, and then there is also commitment from the government aspect. So the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities are fully involved in this. And of course, TAF Africa supported the commission to develop the Access to Work scheme with funding and technical support from Sight Savers. So because of the commitment from different angles, the private sector and then the commission that does represent the government, I'm optimistic that this is going to be different, and we'll have more opportunities for persons with disabilities, getting employment in the private sector.
The Access to Work scheme is a document that the National Commission of Persons with Disability has worked with in conjunction with Sight Savers to make sure that people who are potential employers of persons with disability have the burden of providing assistive devices to their employees with disability halved. So we celebrate the collaboration between the private sector, the government, and all the other actors who are working to ensure that persons with disability have access to livelihood, that they can feed their families and also contribute meaningfully to the society.
The scheme reflects an extensive collaborative approach among stakeholders, ensuring robust implementation and sustainability.